What's up, guys? Before we begin, just want to let you know that I'll be streaming on my Twitch channel probably by the time this video is live here, and today will be the last stream with the Season 3 drops enabled over there. So if you want to come hang out and chat and maybe as well get some exclusive in-game items for the last time, come hang out in the link in the description below. But anyways, let's get back to the regular scheduled content. It's Tuesday, thus another update for Modern Warfare has come today, and with it comes our regular standards that we can always look towards for change, but also a few things technically that were done as well. And on top of that, a big missing change that many were hoping to see made as soon as possible. So today we're going to be breaking down every key change that came along in this update for Modern Warfare and let you know everything that you need to know. But as we go along, let me hear your thoughts down below. What are your hopes for any upcoming fixes? One thing that we'll mention is the lack of a snake shot change for the 357 Magnums. Are you fond of that, or are you hoping to see that adjusted? Whatever it is, make sure you let me know down there in the comments below. As well, if you are perhaps part of that nearly 82% of viewers who are not subscribed, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone content on a daily basis. We'll keep you up to speed with any and everything you need to know. That said, let's jump into today's update. Firstly, as always, we get our playlist updates here. For the multiplayer side, we have Boots on the Ground War, Gunfight Blueprints, Gun Game Reloaded, Demolition, and Shipment 24/7. Now, Boots on the Ground War is one I'm incredibly excited for. Of course, that means that it's just simply ground war without those pesky vehicles. Always a great time here at that one, and always one that I've really enjoyed. Gunfight Blueprints is an interesting take on this here in what we see with our standard traditional gunfight. Of course, you have, instead of those base weapons, you have different variations and those custom blueprints that are made out for players to use and be on an equal playing field. So that's something that you can check out as well. Gun Game Reloaded is now an interesting twist on the standard traditional gun game, in which you now have different blueprints as well instead of just the base weapons, and so it adds a little bit more of a cosmetic flair, but also some interesting challenges for what you may be used to playing around with in regular gun game. It's a good time if you're a gun game fan, though truth be told, I probably will only play this very sparingly, maybe once or twice more here outside of the B-roll footage you're already seeing in the background from what we played earlier, but it is a neat little addition here with this. Then we also saw that Demolition is finally introduced within Modern Warfare. We, of course, again talked about how this was previewed at the beginning of Season 2 in the Season 2 launch blog, but it was listed at that point as coming in Season 2. Then we never saw it really happen. We saw a cyber attack variation that was kind of like that, but it wasn't really anything that was true demolition. It wasn't the back and forth tug of war between attacker and defender on the two bombs. Instead, it was just kind of two teams going over the same bombs, because cyber attack, you can do either attack or defend. But it is a nice little addition here and something that brings back maybe some of the nostalgia. It still plays tremendously well, I think, here out of my own personal preference. I had a great time with it. With a party, it's going to be something you can absolutely annihilate teams. If you're playing solo, you can do it, but it might be something that is a little bit more strenuous and a little bit more of a taller task, but it is something you can play around with. But ultimately, I'm a huge fan here for this. Gonna be bummed when this goes away next week, but it's something for the time being. Definitely gonna be playing some Demolition to stockpile maybe some footage, but also just to give into some of that nostalgia of the classic mode that I've loved for ages. Rounding out the MP changes here made today, we end up seeing Shipment 24/7 was added in, which is definitely great. It's one that if you want to rank up some weapons, you want to try and go on that Obsidian grind, this is, in my mind, the best possible mode to do it in. Shipment 24/7 is always the constant chaos of Shipment, but without the lobby surfing like we had to talk about last week with Shoot the Ship, and of course with things like Domination and Hardpoint and other game modes that could last a little bit longer in terms of timing there. You can rack up kills. Of course, if you're trying to do the LMG challenges, you cover a lot of area with one single smoke, so it's a great time this week to grind out a bunch of new stuff, whether that again be camos or the new weapon itself. Jump in for Shipment 24/7, because to me, it's bound to be a blast. It's going to be pure chaos, but it'll be a good time if you're looking to progress some stuff. Jumping over to the Warzone side of things, we really didn't see all that much here changed in the way of the playlist, but we ended up seeing that we had solos, trios, and quads as our Battle Royale playlists here with this week. Still no introduction of duos, which I'm really curious when this is going to be introduced. Plunder, Blood Money, Trios is something that was added in for the Plunder side of things, but other than that, in terms of content additions, that's about it. There was one technical change made to the helicopters in Battle Royale. Plunder is unaffected here by this, but in Battle Royale, helicopters have been disabled and removed temporarily from the war zone, and this is something that is due directly, I would imagine, to the current, or I guess now previous, exploit that you could get under the map with a helicopter. Over by the canal links by port, as you venture off outside of the city and outside of the park by the ocean, there was a way that you could end up getting a helicopter to go down into that link and then glitch into and under the map, thus allowing you to effectively take no fire from above The thing is that it seemed like you could kill players if they were on an elevated or inclined surface, but if it was on stable ground, you couldn't shoot through it for some reason. But it was essentially a God mode glitch, that if you had that helicopter, you of course never run out of fuel, and it would at least guarantee you almost to getting to end game. You just follow that circle. It's an incredibly boring way to play, and I have no idea why anybody would do it, but alas, it was something that I ran into quite a few times when playing, and I saw many others encounter it as well. But that's the reason as to why helicopters were temporarily disabled. Jumping over though outside of the playlist and then over into the other additions here that round out the content additions, we saw some things introduced within the shop. Firstly, we saw the featured of the Mace bundle and the Plunder pack introduced. The Anime Express pack is interestingly enough not included in this update. We'll come back to why that's the case here in just a second, but the Mace bundle was introduced for 2,400 COD points, in which it gave you a new Mace skin, the Tombstone skin, and as his first introduction since his debut in Season 2, the Drawn and Quartered Growl blueprint, the Garrosh Striker 45 blueprint, the I'm gonna get demonetized now quip, the Run Through finishing move, a Time to Reap watch, the Coffin Nail melee, the Hangman weapon charm, the Bring Out Your Dead calling card, and the No Remorse emblem. Now, if you didn't pick up Mace the very first time, or maybe you wanted some blueprints for the Growl and also the Striker 45, this is a decent introduction here for this, but again, for 20 bucks, that's really up to you to decide whether or not it's worth it. The next thing we saw introduced was that of the Plunder pack for 1,200 COD points, in which it's vehicle skins for all vehicles. It's a matte black with gold trim skin for basically every vehicle here. You have the ATV, truck, TAC rover, helicopter, APC, SUV, and the IAVs. Now, as it stands right now, it's labeled the Plunder pack. I don't know if that means that we'll see APCs and IAVs introduced within the Plunder. I sure hope not, but I think this is going to be something that applies to just any skin, whether that be in Ground War, whether that be in Warzone, whatever it is. So in that sense, it's kind of extending that APC and IAV skins over into Ground War, not necessarily just into the Plunder modes or into Battle Royale. So that's available for 1,200 COD points. There also seemingly were a bunch of other skins introduced that you may see in your shop, like the White Noise M4 blueprint and the Trophy Skulls bundle, or perhaps the Abstract AUG and the Avant Garde bundle, but those are all user specific, so you may see those, you may not, but definitely some cooler ones were introduced here today that I personally saw for the first time, but those are available as well. The only other thing that was officially announced here was the fact that the Triple Double weekend is now extended up until Friday the 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is my guess, but listed as Friday, so you get double XP, double weapon XP, and double tier progression for the rest of the next couple of upcoming days. And that's something that I would imagine is due to the server issues that have been going on. If you paid any attention to matchmaking at all, you know that it's taking absolute ages to connect to games and to fill lobbies. I have no idea if that's been fixed out. I didn't really pay attention to it that much today, but it was mentioned that they do have a fix coming at some point. They have identified the problem, and so therefore hopefully that just gets rolled out as soon as possible. Now, the other thing, talking about an update to consider and coming back to it, is the fact that things like the Anime Express will be introduced seemingly this Friday. It was listed in the blog post as items coming up this weekend, and we have as of recently been seeing shop updates on Tuesday and Friday in the featured category, but also that could then maybe introduce a new mode at some point, but just know that we'll see some slight additions here on Friday as well. But that said, that is where we're at for the update, but the one thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the big thing probably a lot of people were waiting for was not changed. The Akimbo snake shots on the 357 have not been touched, at least not mentioned that they were touched, and that's something that is definitely kind of annoying. Now, before I talk about this and kind of give a little mini rant here about it, I 100% know that I made a video saying that yes, this is incredible in terms of its power and how up close and personal you're probably not going to lose a gunfight. That statement still stands, but it's probably too good. I would be willing to wager that if we could see as a general public the stats of each weapon used in situations, especially in Warzone, that most definitely up close and personal in close quarter situations, and maybe even overall in terms of just general gameplay, the Akimbo snake shots would more than likely be the most used weapon. So my thing is that we had confirmation from developers. Joe Seacott mentioned that it was going to be adjusted in the next smaller update. So what I don't understand is why it wasn't adjusted in this one. To me, playlist updates are smaller, but then title updates are that larger update, in which we do know that we have an RPG nerf coming as well, a tuning pass for that, coming in the next title update, but we don't know when that'll be. That's likely going to be happening, and again, in 2 weeks or so. But the snake shots now having passed that first minor update, we've seen no tuning for it. So my question is, one, where's the adjustment for it? And two, why don't they just temporarily remove it? I mean, we saw this happen with a couple of different things. We saw maps be temporarily removed whenever they had to sort things out. We saw that even in Warzone, a usable item of the helicopter was just effectively removed today. It's not even like it was something in the past. That happened today. Why don't they just do the same thing for the 357? Granted, it doesn't create any game-breaking glitches, but it's something that you can definitely see that it's a problem if, again, you take a look at those stats. So I'm hoping that we still see something coming for this. Whether or not that comes before the next title update, your guess is as good as mine, but I was really hoping to see something done about that here and be able to use something other than akimbo snake shots to combat akimbo snake shots, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So that said, that is where we're at here with that. That is the update for Modern Warfare and Warzone as of today. But that said, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Enjoying this update so far? Maybe not. Whatever it is and why, let me know down there in the comments. But hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected outside of YouTube, practically on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.